Hey there, booktube. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue our read aloud read along of Maya Angelou's second memoir, Gathered Together in My Name. We've been reading together the first memoir as well as previous chapters in this book, and both of those series of videos will be linked in the description box down below. I have created playlists of those previous videos. Now we're up to chapter 13, so I'm going to start reading. If you have a copy of the book, you can start reading along with me. Otherwise, you could just listen to me read. Chapter 13 starts on page 57 in this edition of the book, so here we go. Let's have a little griffer before dinner. Johnny May gave an order, not an invitation. She turned to me. You like griffer? Yes, I smoke. The truth was I had smoked cigarettes for over a year, but never marijuana. But since I had the unmitigated gall to sit up cross-legged in a lesbian apartment sipping wine, I felt I had the stamina to smoke a little griffer. Anyway, I was prepared to refuse anything else they offered me, so I didn't feel I could very well refuse the pot. Beatrice laid down a Prince Albert can on the table with cigarette papers. Do you want to roll it? Johnny May was being gracious. No thanks, I don't roll very well. I hadn't seen loose tobacco and cigarette papers since I'd left the South 5 years earlier. My brother and I used to roll lumpy cigarettes for my uncle on a small hand-cranking machine when he'd run out of ready rolls. She took the papers and deftly began to sift marijuana. I tried not to appear too curious as the grains of tobacco fell into the cupped paper. I'd like to use your bathroom. Sure, you know where it is? I talked to the bathroom mirror. You have nothing to be nervous about. You'll get out of this. Don't you always get out of everything? Marijuana is not habit forming. Thousands of people have smoked it. The Indians and Mexicans, and it didn't send them mad. Just wash your hands, which were damp, and go back to the living room. Keep your cool. I inhaled the smoke as casually as if the small brown cigarette I held were the conventional commercial kind. No, don't waste the griffer. Hand it here. She dragged the cigarette and made the sound of folks slurping tea from a saucer. But I like it my way, stubborn to the end. Well, try it like this. Again, the rattling sound. All right, I will. I opened my throat and kept my tongue flat so that the smoke found no obstacle in its passage from my lips to my throat. It tore the lining off my tonsils, made my nasal passages burn like red pepper, and choked me. While I coughed, gagging, those silly women laughed. They would be sitting there with those vapid wrinkles on their faces while I choked to death. Wouldn't they do anything for me? No. Beatrice rescued the joint and sucked in the smoke, puffing out her already fat cheeks to bursting, while her lady love was busily engaged in rolling another stick of tearing fire. Before the cough stopped shaking me, I had decided I would get even with them. They were lesbians, which was sinful enough, but they were also inconsiderate, stupid women. I reached again for the marijuana. The food was the best I'd ever tasted. Every morsel was an experience of sheer delight. I lost myself in a haze of sensual pleasure, enjoying not only the taste but the feel of the food in my mouth, the smells and the sound of my jaws chewing. She's got a buzz. That's her third helping. I looked up to see the two women looking at me and laughing. Their faces seemed to be mostly teeth, white teeth staggering inside dark lips. They were embarrassingly ugly, and yet there was something funny about it. They had no idea that they were strange looking. I laughed at their ignorance, and they, probably thinking themselves to be laughing at mine, joined me. When I remembered how they were ready to let me choke to death and how I vowed to get them, the tears rolled down my cheeks. That was really funny. They didn't know what I was thinking, and I didn't know what form my revenge would take. Let's have some sounds. Beatrice got up from the table. We were, by magic, back in the murky living room. Johnny May stood putting records on the player. She turned to me as the first record began to play. You said you're studying how to dance. Do us a dance. Lil Green's voice whined out the sadful lyrics. In the dark, I get such a thrill when you press your fingertips upon my lips. I couldn't explain that I didn't do dancing alone to music like that. At the studio, I did stretches, extensions, pliés, and relevés to Prokofiev and Tchaikovsky and Stravinsky. It was considered normal in gatherings to ask a child or even an adult to entertain. The talented person was expected to share his gift. The singer was asked to sing us a little song, and the person with the gift of memorizing was asked to render us a poem. In my mother's house, I had often been called to show what I was studying at dance school. The overstuffed chairs were pulled back, and I would dance in the cleared living room space. I hummed inaudibly and moved precisely from ballet position 1 straight into a wobbling arabesque. Mother's company would set their highballs down to applaud. I decided to dance for my hostesses. The music dipped and swayed, pulling and pushing. I let my body rest on the sound and turned and bowed in the tiny room. The shapes and forms melted until I felt I was in a charcoal sketch or a sepia watercolor. When the record finished, I stopped. The two women sat on the sofa, made solemn. That was good, wasn't it, baby? Sure was. Dance with Beatrice. I don't mind. Go on. Beatrice, dance with Rita. Again, order was in her voice. The last thing in the world I wanted to do was dance with another woman. Johnny May got up and started the Little Green song again, and Beatrice moved up close to me. She put her arm around my waist and took my left hand as if we were going to waltz. It was crushing. Not only was she fat and soft and a head shorter than I, her big breasts rubbed against my stomach. She stuck her thigh between my knees and we wobbled around the room. This was the ultimate insult. I would vent my spleen on those thick-headed, lecherous old hags. They couldn't do me this way and get away with it. That's right, Beatrice, do the dip. The woman did a fancy step and bent back, pulling me with her. I nearly toppled over. Mercifully, the record finished after what seemed 1,000 hours, and I was allowed to return to the sofa. You all look good together. Beatrice can sure dance, can't she? Come here, baby, and give me a kiss. I got up, made room for Beatrice. No, you could stay. She encircled Beatrice, whose face was heavy with submission. Have to go to the toilet again. Let the mental machine do its work. In the bathroom, an idea blossomed. They were whores. Why not encourage them in their chosen profession? From what I understood, whores can never get enough money, and since they had so little, I dressed my newborn creation carefully and took it back to the living room. I asked if we could turn down the music because I wanted to talk. Rita wants to talk. They broke out of their embrace. Nasty things. I just thought I might be able to help you keep this place. You like it so much and you've made it so cute. It'll be a shame if you lost it. They nearly became maudlin in their agreement. Well, I could rent it and you could continue to stay. You mean you pay the rent and we pay you back? No, I'll rent the place in my name. I'll have the lights and gas put in my name and pay everything. And 3 nights a week or 4 nights a week, y'all stay here and turn tricks. Beatrice's silly little voice complained. You mean to turn our home into a whorehouse? Well, whores lived in it and it was a house. Do you realize if the trade builds up, you can buy a place of your own and fix it just like this? And they probably would. Where would we get the tricks? Ever practical Johnny May. We get white taxi drivers and give them a percentage. My brain was clicking along like a Santa Fe train, a hooting and a howling. They could be told the hours like between 10 and 2. Then if every trick is $20, they get 5 and we split the 15. $7.50 for you, $7.50 for me. We don't want to be whores, I mean full-time. Old big little Beatrice already scared. What did she do in the wax? Seduce young girls? Tricking 4 days a week isn't full-time, I said. And anyway, if you're successful, you could quit it in 6 months. Go and buy you a little place. Fact is, you could even get a bigger house and get even more junk in it. Johnny May looked at me with suspicion. When did you figure all that out? Well, I've been wanting to go into business, so I'd been saving my money. I'd been thinking in terms of a hamburger stand, but this place is so perfect. And so were they. If all 3 of us saved, do you realize we could open a restaurant in a year? Beatrice as the chef, you and I as managers. I was getting to them. I had a little operation up the coast, a 3-girl deal, but I had to close down. Admiration and a little fear showed in their faces. They hadn't bargained for what they were getting. Johnny May, not wanting to believe what she already believed, asked, "Why were you working as a waitress?" Should I tell them in order to eat and pay for my son's keep so they'd throw me down on that uncomfortable sofa and rape me? I needed a front. Cops after me. Cops! Both of them screamed. Like many weak people, they wanted to milk the cow, at the same time denying the smell of the BS. I saw immediately that I had gone too far. Not after me, myself, one of my girls, but I wanted to lay a cover for myself. Beatrice said, "You're awfully young to be in the rackets." I've been around, baby. I rolled my eyes to indicate distant and mysterious places. Well, how does it sound? Say we say Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then you're free for church on Sunday, and we'd better talk about it. I'm off tomorrow, and I can get all the business taken care of. No time like the present. We only have the 2 bedrooms. Where will you work? I almost shouted at the tall woman. Me? Turn tricks? What did she think I was? I'm going to stay on at the restaurant. Shouldn't call attention to myself, you understand? But you won't be alone. I'll have somebody here to watch out for you. Just leave it to me. I became pompously professional, which was never hard for me, being my father's daughter. If you let me have a tablet and a pen, I'll take the landlord's address. Beatrice, get some paper. I moved over to the table, shifting the dinner dishes and crumbs out of my way as Johnny May dictated. What's this address again? She gave it to me, and I wrote it over and over on slips of paper. What you doing now? Johnny May wasn't bright, but she'd always be too clever to just go for the okey doke. I put it in my mind that I'd better keep that in my mind. When I leave here, I'm going to start drumming up business, I said. In a few weeks, we'll be thousandaires. What? That's just a step from millionaires. Let's have a drink on it. Beatrice poured. The first mouthful nearly sent me reeling. It made contact with the gripper in my brain. For a lightning second, I was sober with a clear recollection of what I had done. Then blissfully, I was high again. An authority in charge of affairs. I said goodbye, alluded again to the wonderful food and the wonderful future we had in store, and walked out of the house. I was certain that my heartlessness regarding the women stemmed from a natural need for revenge. After all, my soggy sentimentality for the misunderstood, no one could have convinced me that I was merely acting out society's hate for the other ones. However, an irony struck me before I reached a little 1-foot wire fence that guarded the pavement from the yard. In a successful attempt to thwart a seduction, I had ended up with 2 whores and a whorehouse. And I was just 18. That's the end of chapter 13. Let me know what you think about this chapter in the comments down below. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Let's talk down there. And until next time, until we come back for chapter 14, happy reading. I hope you watch other videos, and we'll talk then. See you next time. Bye.